G'day guys, thanks again for watching. This is just an update on my lathe, where I am, what I've done to it. So if you've seen my previous video, you would have seen this lathe really looked horrendous. I've actually stripped down the whole lathe down to bare metal, sprayed everything. As you can see, this apron is now the same color. I've really cleaned everything up. The ways are now oiled, cleaned. I've actually replaced all the felts in the ways and everywhere that I could find them. I've actually, as I said, I've taken the apron off, I've cleaned it. I did manage to find a cover for it, still need to clean that up. As you can see, I've also got a serpentine belt, so thus I did pull my headstock off. I pulled my headstock off. I did also upgrade my end washer here for the needle bearing. Very nice, much better. Don't have any lateral play anymore. I changed these screws out. I just like stainless steel Allen keys better. I've replaced this, so I like it a little bit better. As you can see, my motor is still not mounted. I'll show you now what I'm doing with the motor. I had the motor on here and I had this running a bit just to see how it does. What I did see is this bearing or this shaft here really gets hot. This one doesn't. There's some galling in there as well, so I'm still investigating how to fix that up. If not, I'll probably put some spacers in there or some sleeves in there. So I'm still investigating that. But the reason why this was heating up is this pulley and the motor on the V-belt was really tight. So I think it's actually pushing down here and it's actually compressing it. So you get a lot of tension here. So I'm actually looking at the motor. The motor is fine, but yeah, I just want to look at the motor. I've actually, if you've watched my previous video, you would have known that this one, the 3-jaw chuck was actually binding. So I've actually now, I've really stripped this, and it's now not binding anymore. So I'm really happy with this. So yeah, I know one of the viewers asked me to do like a video on how to strip it down. To tell you the truth, there's not a lot of that can go wrong with this. If you, for example, if you take the headstock off, I mean, it's just a screw. There's a screw on this side and a screw on the other side, and you can take it apart, work on it, put it back together. If you want to take this lead screw off, or this worm screw, I'm not sure really what it's called. I mean, there's 2 screws on this side, 2 screws on this side, and you actually pull it all off. So there's really not a lot that can go wrong if you keep your mind to it. What I did manage to, and on my previous video, I did mention that this was a 9-inch South Bend lathe, and this was a B model. And some Bright Spark actually swapped out the apron and made it a C model. I've looked at replacing the C model back to a B model, but it's just too expensive. I'm not going to pay $400 for an apron just to have a B model again, even though that it's nice for cross feeds. It's really not worth it. I did manage, as I said, I did manage to find a cover. I'll show you guys. It's not a South Bend cover, but it's a copy of it. So that's still something I need to do. I've got one of these lantern tool posts. I'll probably replace this later on with a quick change tool post. Still looking at that. Says I've really cleaned this up. This has really came out. I've got a live center here. I've got a dead center on for my headstock here. So I have checked my centers. What I have seen, what I have seen from my centers is that I've actually calibrated my tailstock, and this direction, my headstock is on center, but what I have seen is vertically, my headstock is sitting low. So I have ordered some shimming that I can put in there to lift my headstock up, and that I will show in the next video how to do that. The other thing that I have done, and that's also a reason why I've taken the motor off, is I have started to put my start and stop buttons here. Start and stop and an emergency stop button. So that's also on the coming videos, how that will be wired and everything. I'm still not sure if I want to put a reverse switch in here, but yeah, let me take you over to the motor and I'll show you what's going on there. Hey guys, here at the motor. Before we add the motor, just want to show you. Here's the cover plate I spoke to you that I did get. This is not a South Bend, but this is a Hercus, Australian copy of the South Bend. It's just to get a South Bend cover like this, I would need to import it from the US, and even though it's about $30–40 for the cover, it's not bad, but the shipping's like $100. So I opted for this. What I did see, what I'll do is I'll take off the plate. I want to strip this off and also paint it in the same color as the lathe, and the color for the lathe is just a normal gunmetal. So the one thing that I did see is this pin here. It's much smaller than the one that was on the lathe. So I'll probably take this pin out and I'll drill this and I'll get a pin that will fit the lathe. The original South Bend holder. I'll probably take this out and I'll really clean this off and fix it up again. I really like the way that my lathe turned out from the previous photos. I'll probably show two comparisons of the two lathes before and after, just to show you guys how it looked. Back at the motor, as you can see, I've taken off the wires that they were really bad. So I've taken off there was a capacitor mounted right here, and this was the the housing really bad. I don't like it. So probably I've got a 3D printer, so I'll probably print a new housing for this, and I'll really make the wiring neat. That's my speciality. I'm more electronics rather than mechanics. Hence me getting the lathe, trying to learn mechanics. So that's what I'll do. I've got new wires here. So we're gonna wire this neatly. Initially I thought, I'm not gonna open up the motor, but when as I said, when I run it, the bearing on the drive got hot. This bearing got hot as well, so I just had to inspect it. So I actually took off the pulley and the cover here. I've checked it. Everything is 100% the same with this one. I took it off, checked it, 100%. And that's where I've actually made my sort of epiphany and got to it, where this bearing is getting hot and the one on the drive pulley is getting hot as well, and that's due to the pulley is putting too much force on the motor and on the drive. So I will be fixing that up, but I'm not going to paint the motor. I've tried to see if I can take out the end caps to do that, but I won't be able to do that. So the motor is going to stay as it is. I'm just going to refurbish the wiring. I've taken this off. I'll probably see if I can buy a new Bakelite board and remake this. As I said, I'm a bit pedantic about electricity and neatness, so I really want to do this correct. So this wire will then go onto the lathe and everything. So yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Keep in touch. I'll probably make a video of this being reworked just to show what I'm doing to take a Hercus body or a cover plate and make it to fit my 9-inch south bend. I'm not going to show how I refurbish this, because I mean there's not a lot that you can go wrong. You've got your centrifugal switch here, you've got your start coil and your run coil. So I mean it's not rocket science. This is just a start cap. So yep, it uses the capacitor just to get the phases out of sync, to kick the motor over, and the moment the motor starts to turn fast enough, the centrifugal switch at this stage kicks out, and the cap that's actually change the phase of the motor, or not phase, but the phase angle of the motor actually kicks out, because then the motor has got enough momentum to, or it's already turning in a certain direction.